more on the business of locating unclaimed property, I went to the state of California's website for Unclaimed Property Division. And we have a person here by the name of Reginald Arterberry who has the amount of $12,236.84. So obviously that's over $4,000 you could collect as a finder, private investigator. And what I want you to notice about the state of California also is that if you look at the links, there's one that says claim filing instructions, fees charged by investigators, etc. Now, I stated on the other video that you can do a little bit of research and find the information you need on how to proceed in the business of locating unclaimed property by getting additional information. In the state of California and some other states, you have what is called an Unclaimed Property Investigator Handbook. You can download it from the website. It is free. And by the way, you don't necessarily need to live or reside anywhere near the state that you choose to operate in. But because this is a state program, you need to follow and know the laws and the rules of each state. This particular handbook is 50 pages. It is free. It is your State of California Unclaimed Property Investigator Handbook. I will give you a direct link to it on this video. And what I want you to notice is that this particular guidebook is specifically to direct you in the business of being a private investigator, assisting them, because that's what you're doing. You're assisting the state whose job it is to basically find these people, but they're only going to do so much, and to return their property to them. So I'm showing you this to let you know that this is a viable business, and it's one that is recognized, and it's one that that anyone can do. Investigator guidelines, unclaimed property program, abandoned property, available unclaimed property information on the internet, abandoned property records, DVD and CDs, State of California software agreement, standard investigator agreement, that's on page 19, investigator fees, also on page 19, claim package. So basically, some states are going to give you everything that you need to go into this business. Standard investigator agreement. The SCO has developed a standard investigator agreement to facilitate the filing of claims by investigators, and that would be you. The agreement is located in Appendix B of this handbook and may be duplicated as needed. The fees investigators may charge to cover the costs of their efforts to reunite owners with unclaimed property are set forth in the Code of Civil Procedure, CCP, Section 1582, which states, you can read it for yourself, let's go down to Appendix B. There you have it. Because in the first video, I did not give you a lot of details on the specifics of how to operate this business. I really just wanted to introduce you to it. So I decided I'd make another little short video to give you a little bit more. But I still encourage you to do your own due diligence and do your own homework, and not to be lazy with this, and to, if you're going to take it seriously, then do what you need to do in order to be successful. Standard investigator agreement, abandoned property. So this would be the agreement if you're operating in the state of California. And actually, because there is no requirement that you use a standard agreement, you can pretty much use any agreement that you want, because you are covered under contract law, which allows you to enter into contracts with other persons, and it requires the court to uphold the terms of the agreement between two adult parties who enter into a contractual agreement. So you don't have to use this particular contract, but it's, at the same time, you don't have to create your own when there's already one that is a standard agreement that you could use. And also it looks official, and it is official. So you would simply duplicate this agreement, and this is what you would send to the parties who you are going to do business with. Another thing I did not cover, and by the way, any and everything you need to know in order to operate this business, you could find in this particular handbook. Okay, and although this is particularly for the state of California, this handbook would be apropos. A lot of the information in it would be appropriate for any of the states you choose to operate in. It's a good guidebook to give you a good background on unclaimed property and how you could get involved in that particular business if you choose to. Another thing I did not show you on the other video was the art of locating people. I put in the name Reginald Otterbury, state of California, and this is what comes up. So one of the things you might want to do if you're trying to locate a person, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on it, is to, if all you have is a name and you go to a website like whitepages.com and you have a lot of different persons with that same name to choose from. And the reason I'm using this particular example is because this is, and one reason I decided to make another video is because on the first video I randomly put in a few names, and the most we came up with was maybe $700 here, $400 there, $50 there, $15 there. So I want you to know that there's real money that's out there. There's a lot more than this that could be found. This is $12,236, but in some cases it's in the six figures, and it could even potentially be in the millions. And you know, if you stumble across it and you can find that person, then you're good to go. Now, one of the things I would encourage anyone to do initially, if you're going to take this seriously, is go to a website. I'm back in California again. And before, when I put in, for example, I put in Michael Jackson, Los Angeles, I put in Gary Coleman, the red asterisk shows you what's required. You could simply put in a last name and not put in a city and not put in a first name, and that way it's going to search the entire state for any person with the last name Jackson. Now, what you could do is do a search on your family. It's a good idea to actually begin to search for people that you actually know. Okay, people that you actually know, because one of the most finding the money is easy. You could simply put in, I mean, we've already found it right here. There's different people with the last name Jackson who have various amounts of money. Some of them are going to be very small. Some of them are going to be much larger. So what's good about the Alabama site is that you can simply research the ones that are $100 or more, because some of the unclaimed property could literally be as little as 10 cents and 15 cents and 9 cents. Because even if it's 1 penny, if a company is going to follow the law, they are supposed to turn that 1 penny over to the state. Now, as far as finding these people, again, you can start with researching your own family, and looking for people that you actually know. Or research your own last name. For visible health care. What I want you to see is that you can go to a site like White Pages, and let's say that you know it is in the state of California, and you get the approximate ages. One of the things I wanted to tell you that you could do also is to contact the agency that has reported this unclaimed property and get more information on this person to at least try to get a clue. You can also use the last known address that was reported to begin your research. So this, you know, you have to do a little bit of detective work to find these people sometimes. And it was simply, it was as simple as basically contacting a few people that lived in the vicinity based upon the White Pages phone book, and contacting them by telephone to find someone that was related to that person. I actually found the father of the person who pointed me in the right direction to the actual person who was owed the money, and then I contacted that person, and we made the agreement, and I helped them to get the money, and I earned $3,000 for that. And I did it all in a day, basically. So that was $3,000 in basically in one day that I earned, because I already had the forms printed out, and I did not have the advantage of having this investigator handbook. As you can see, this is May 2012, and I did not have the advantage of the forms that they're providing, the standard investigator agreement abandoned property form. So I had to create my own document. I had to create my own contract. But the course that I purchased for about $40 did give me all the information I needed, including the information on how to create a contractual agreement. And that was that. So again, once you locate a person, you can use the various resources on the internet to help you to find that person. This is someone who is deceased. And if you know the person you're searching for is deceased, that will give you further clues if you can find out their middle initial. So whether you contact the party that owes them money, and by the way, you could purchase this report for as little as 95 cents. It would give you their full name, age, date of birth, phone number, current address, etc. But a lot of times you can find these people without having to pay anything through various websites. It's just a matter of, let's look at this one. Is there various people named Reginald Smith? And you find the one that you think might be the person you're looking for. Simply click on it. And you're going to get a telephone number and an address. You would simply call the phone number. This is after you've done a little bit of research. And then ask the right questions to find out if this is truly the person you are seeking. If it is, you can explain a little bit about the program and then send the contract to the address. Verify the address. Make sure that you get the correct mailing address. And again, in Appendix B, you've got your standard investigator agreement. And here's what it says. Investigator, through his or her efforts, has located the claimant who may be entitled to the assets in the possession of the State Controller of California, as described below. Owner's name, owner's address is reported to the State Controller's Office, reported by, etc., type of account, amount, property reference number, securities, property ID number. Check here if there are attachment listing additional accounts. Investigator and claimant do hereby agree that in consideration of investigator's efforts in locating claimant and assisting in the actual recovery of the above described assets to which claimant may be entitled, claimant assigns to the investigator a percentage not to exceed 10% of the net assets which the claimant in fact recovers. Claimant agrees that the investigator fee will be paid upon payment of the claim. Now, when you use the standard investigator agreement with the state of California, the state of California will actually pay you directly if the person who is entitled to the assets agrees to that. So they will work with you, but you're not required to use the standard investigator agreement, and unless a state law prohibits it, you don't have to use or charge the 10% fee. You can charge 30% or whatever the state will allow. And with that, I will conclude this video.